Hello, folks. I hope you're here for EXPLO. And if you're not, you're in the wrong place. But I suspect you are in the right place. And we'll get started soon. We'll just let everyone get in here. We have actually quite a few folks signed up for this evening, and we're happy about that. And we've got folks coming in from all over the world, and we're excited to share with you what we have at EXPLO. And we'll wait just one more minute and then we'll get started. And then if folks come in, they can just join us when they do. Okay, well, we will get started. My name is Moira Kelly. I'm the president of EXPLO, and I am joined this evening, hiding behind this big E, is Kate, and Kate is our associate director of admissions, and this is Maddie, who you see here, and he's our senior admission counselor. And what is great about Maddie and Kate is if you are applying to EXPLO, these are in fact the folks that you will be dealing with for our middle school program, and they are on campus during the summer times, and they have been on campus. So they're fountains of knowledge. What we're going to do tonight is do an overview of our middle school programs, and those are held at Wellesley College. And to give you a little bit of background on myself, I started working at EXPLO a long time ago, actually in 1985, and thought that I would do this for 1 year as a college student. And but I really liked it a lot. And but I am a fairly pragmatic person, so I ended up going to law school and splitting my summers, clerking for half and then doing EXPLO for the other half. But EXPLO really grabbed me over time, and I ended up being a dean actually at the largest boarding school at the time in the continental United States, and then I was lured back to EXPLO year round. And I am happy that I have made such a long career here. And one of the things that I think it's important to know about us is that we are career educators, and we are really serious about what we do. And we actually do consulting work too for schools, both in the United States and internationally. And what we do with our middle school program is actually, in a lot of ways, use it as a lab for work that we do. And we've been running a middle school program since 1984. And these are not small programs. We have had thousands and thousands of students come through our middle school programs. And in fact, we have had students come to us from 101 countries. And overall, for all of our programs over the years, we've enrolled more than 90,000 students. So we know middle schoolers and we like them. And I say it that way because it's not unusual that parents and sometimes educators who don't work with middle schoolers wonder what happens when students hit adolescence because they turn into someone else. And sometimes it seems like they can be 10 and then other times 40, and they're bopping back and forth, and so much is happening at this age group. And we love that. And we are really happy to have them with us and see them both play and then dig into abstract thinking and all sorts of other things. So Maddie, why don't we move along here for slides? All right. So a little bit about our organization. We've been around for almost 50 years. Actually, we were incorporated in 1976. We have had an incredible group of people come through the program. And I have to tell you, One of the reasons that I stayed at Expo, even though I planned to only stay for a year, was because of the people. It is a very sparky community. There are conversations that happen at Expo that I'm not sure are happening in other places. I was very lucky. I would say that our work in terms of recruiting faculty members and staff members is all about looking for potential and looking for sparky people. And that's why the first couple of years that I worked at Expo, I was very lucky. I worked with students who went on to college students who went on to law school, and 5 of them went on to clerk on the US Supreme Court. We've had plenty of people who've won Rhodes and Fulbrights and Watsons and Rotaries and all sorts of other things. And we haven't checked actually this year's Forbes 30 under 30 list. Last year, I think we had 4 or 5 more that added to the list. So I wouldn't be surprised if we've got more, but right now we're standing at 70 plus. And one of the things that I just think that is wonderful about the Expo community is you just have these amazing connections and people interested in quirky and interesting things. And there are conversations that happen here that don't happen in other places. And there is a feeling that anything is possible. One of the students a number of years ago talked about us as the people where you go big somehow. So if that's what students get when they come to us, that they can think big and go big, we'll take that. So one of the things that we are pretty committed to at EXPLO is we want students to find their spark. And what we mean by that is the thing that lights you up, the thing that animates you. And the way that that happens generally is you really have to exercise your curiosity and you have to follow your interests because you can turn over a lot of rocks before you actually find where your spark is. And the great thing about EXPLO is we are all about exploration. And if you didn't pick up on this before, EXPLO is short for exploration. And in fact, we started this as exploration summer programs, but students just kept on calling it EXPLO, EXPLO, EXPLO many, many years ago. And we just shortened it. And kind of like United Parcel Service, we have become the UPS, so we're EXPLO. And we're all about exploration and inquiry and following your curiosity. And over the years, one of the things that has been wonderful is to find that students have found the thing that lit them up, whether that is something that becomes a hobby for them for a long time, a new extracurricular activity. It may be that they find an academic area that really inspires them, and that's what they end up majoring in college. We've had people determine with us that they are entrepreneurs and have become serial entrepreneurs after they have left us. So this could go anywhere because every student is unique. And what we celebrate is whatever your spark is, that's great when you find it. And we're going to try and help you do that. And one of the reasons we think that's important, and the research actually shows that it's important, is that when students really are excited about something, it means that they are willing to dig into it. And they generally are more motivated. And it's something that they want to pursue more deeply, and it brings more meaning to their lives. And I don't want to for a moment pretend that come to Expo and you're going to get into the college of your choice just because you come to Expo. But I will say that actually, I was at a few years ago, I was at a function at the Museum of Science, and it was made up of, and this was in Boston, and it was made up of it was women who had been recommended by college presidents and deans of the college and provosts as showing real promise in STEM subjects. And so I was there and meeting with a lot of these students, and there were about 120 college and graduate students there. And I will tell you now, I did not meet all of them, but I probably met about a third of them. And 25% of all of the students that I met had gone to EXPLO. And as soon as they met me and said and told me that they had gone to EXPLO, that's where they told me that they found their spark for science. And so we can't guarantee anything, but who knows? Um, I mentioned the fact that we've got wonderful people at the program. I think that one of the things that we really look for are folks who wear their passion on their sleeves. And I'll just talk about a few of these folks. Connor Dumont teaches math in Maine. He's been with us for years. Um, all I can say is I wish I had Connor for math when I was in school. And not that I did poorly, but I imagine that I would have done far better than I did. There is no one who can bring more excitement to math and math-related subjects than Connor. We have Dr. Graham Sager-Gellerman is a veterinarian and works with Back Bay veterinarians. Caitlin Fuller's been with us for years and works during the academic year with middle school students, actually helping them find their spark up at a school in Vermont. Delia has worked with us for years, and she is a professor now at the University of Alabama and has won Mellon fellowships and all sorts of things. And Jen, the entire family goes to EXPLO. She and her sister went to EXPLO. Her sister was a Rhodes Scholar. Jen has worked at the program. Her children have gone to the program. I speak with her father, who's a professor at Harvard Graduate School of Education almost every month. We just have a wonderful community of people who do interesting things, and that's important to us. Really, EXPLO is about the people, and we take great pains to make sure that we keep up relationships and keep the family connected. So we've got three programs that we offer for middle school students, and the largest one where the most students apply is something that we call EXPLO 360. And what the 360 stands for is you can take virtually everything. So students who are in our 360 program take 2 workshops, and they will do those for 2 weeks and every day, Monday through Friday. And they will do 2 electives, and they'll take 1 elective the first week and 1 elective the second week. And it says here that you can do endless combinations. You really can in a lot of ways. So you might be taking a business course and a course in world affairs. You might be doing an elective in cooking and then another elective in soccer. You'd really have to go look at all of the courses and electives that we offer to get a good handle on what you can put together. The reason this program really works well for middle school students is oftentimes middle school students, there are things that they've thought that they might be interested in, but they haven't had an opportunity to really pursue them. And this is where you can try them out. And if it turns out that you love engineering after this, that's wonderful. It may also turn out that you try engineering and you say, this is not like what I thought it was going to be at all. And we think that's important too, to figure out what's not going to be on your list for the future. So this is where you do samples and try things out, and that's EXPLO 360. We also have 2 other programs that are more focused, and one is in medical rotations. And so this is a program for students who think they might want to go into medicine, and that you would be doing something related to medicine the entire time that you're with us, from about 9 in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And you would be going to the medical simulation lab at the Brigham Women's Hospital. That is called the Stratus Lab, and the Stratus Lab is run by Andrew Eyre. And Andrew, Dr. Andrew Eyre, he also teaches at Harvard Medical School. Andrew helped us put this program together. He and his brothers, one a physician and one a lawyer, they all worked at EXPLO all through college, and actually in college, Andrew connected with his the person who where he was doing his residency at Mass General through our focus program that he worked on in medical rotations. This simulation lab is hard to describe only because it's tremendous what you can do. I've gone a number of times, and in addition to putting in IVs and defibrillating patients. I have also done a couple of colonoscopies and put some stents in, and I had to tell folks when I was over there that if I had done that, when I was in middle school. I think that I may well have gone to medical school instead of going to law school, but it's really pretty amazing. On campus, we're doing lots of work, anatomy and dissections. We're doing a lot of differential diagnoses and case studies. And if a student has any interest and they think that they might want to go into medicine, this is a really good way to figure out that they do. I was interviewing a student this summer who was in our medical rotations program, and her situation was interesting because she came to the program, both of her parents are doctors, and her question was, do I think I like medicine just because this is what we talk about at home all the time? Or do I genuinely like this? And so I was interviewing her actually towards the end of the program. And I said, so what's the answer? Did you get the answer to this? And she said, yeah, I really like this. We've got other students who they don't know a physician at all. There's no one in the family who's a physician. And so this is a really great immersion into stepping into the shoes and putting on the mantle of being a doctor. The other program that we have on campus is veterinary science. And so students, you can see here, students are putting their hands on chinchillas, dogs, cats, goats, but also large animals. And so I did not know this until we started running this program, but you actually can get certified in first aid for pets, which if you choose to run your middle school or high school pet servicing program, walking dogs, whatever happens to be, this may assist you. But I think one of the great things about this program is that it covers the range of veterinary science that students might be looking at for the future, and that covers large animals and domestic pets. And we also do work with rehabilitation, and so this is a wonderful opportunity for students who really like animals, to find out animal psychology, excuse me, animal medicine, and what is it, both in terms of diagnosing uh, difficulties with pets, but also what's needed to keep them safe and healthy, interestingly, both physically, but also psychologically. So that's our veterinary science program. And just like our medicine program, students will be doing this from about 9 in the morning until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then later in the day, all three programs will come together and do the rest of the activities for the day and main events and trips and other things together. So I think this comment, you learn to get out of your comfort zone. One of the things that we ask of students on a regular basis at EXPLO is to step out of your comfort zone. And we do that because what we know, and it's not just that we know it, all the research shows this, is that the greatest learning happens when you are not in your comfort zone. And one of the ways that we do this is that we don't have grades. This is not about credit. This is try it without worrying that you are going to harm your GPA, or this is not going to help you get into the high school that you want to get into, or the college, or anything else. One of the things that we ask of our students is not that you're going to be good at everything that you try with us, but that you participate and you jump in. And that's part of our culture. And to be in a place where, and I think this kid talking about the fact that you can be just a terrible singer and still get on campus, and people will still be psyched that you're there, is true, and so we are about trying things out. And if folks have studied Emil Durkheim at all, there's something about kind of group effervescence, and that notion that when a group can come together, all sorts of things are possible, and there's a frisson that happens when that is happening. And people have talked and I've been with EXPLO for, my gosh, next year will be 2025 will be my 40th year at EXPLO. Is that there is something profoundly different different about this community and the culture. Um, and um, and that's that we look around corners and we try things together. And so if you one of the things that I think is true is if you have been at school or you have been at other camps or other places and you have not found your place, there's a very good chance when you come to Expo that you will find it and you will find your people. So we are located during the summertime at Wellesley College. On the left, that is not Wellesley College. That is Boston. And Boston is about 30 minutes away. This video, as Maddie's showing this, is of Wellesley College. It is a 500 plus acre campus. It is gorgeous, one of the most beautiful actually in the United States. And for those of you who care about landscape architecture, it is a Frederick Law Olmsted designed campus, there are gorgeous buildings. It is on a lake. Paramecium Pond is there. There are meadows. There are woodlands. There are fields. And one of the great things about it is we have access to basically that entire campus. We are not cheek by jowl with every other program. And because there really aren't many other programs on campus, there's an Upward Bound program on campus, way on the other side of campus. And otherwise, we have our own dedicated classroom spaces, which is great for us because we take great pains in setting the stage in our classrooms, and we have lots of materials that we need to leave there. But we also have our own residential complex, and we have our own dining hall, and we have lots of room that is really dedicated just to us, and we can stage lots of things, and we do. So that's Wellesley College. It is a wonderful place. It also happens to be located adjacent to the town of Wellesley, which we refer to as the Ville. And so it is literally a 5-minute walk from our residential complex into downtown Wellesley, where students can sign out at certain times during the day, and they can go to Starbucks or get an ice cream or go to various shops and stores in town. And then we're pretty close to, I mean, we're within 30 minutes of Boston and all of the cultural and athletic and other resources of the greater Boston area. And I will say, for students who are coming from other parts of the country, and we have quite a few students who do, or you're coming internationally, you would fly into Logan International Airport, and we would meet you at the airport. Pick you up at baggage claim. We will bring you back to campus. We will make sure that you call home so that people know that you arrived. And then at the end of the program, we'll bring you back to the airport, and we'll stay at the airport until you get up in the air, which may seem like, well, of course you would. Well, I have learned that is not in fact the case at all programs. We all know that flights get canceled or delayed, and so we are there until the last kid is up in the air. So that's Wellesley College in the greater Boston area. And let me talk about the schedule a little bit. One of the great things about EXPLO is students put together their own schedules. So I'm not telling you there are no requirements. You actually do have to go to things, but you get to choose your classes and your electives and your activities and a variety of other things. So for residential students, we have residential students and we have day students. Residential students get together at 7:45 in the morning and then head to breakfast and then they go on to their workshop. Why do we do a check-in at 7:45 in the morning? Well, because we would like to make sure that students are in fact awake and ready to go to their first class. And for many of our students, this will be the first time in their lives that they will have to wake up on their own. And this is a good thing to practice this. But at 7:45, if they are not at their morning huddle, we know they are likely still in their beds, and we will go wake them up so that they still have time to get to breakfast and get to their workshops. So workshop one happens from 8 to 10:15, and then we've got a break for students to chat with each other and then to move on to their second workshop. And then we get to lunch. Then we have an elective, and then at 2:45 we've got community meeting. If you're looking at this and you're thinking about the medical program and the vet program, your medical and vet program will go to 2:30. And 2:45 you will join community meeting, and then from 3 to 4 o'clock we've got clubs, leagues, and activities. One of the things that EXPLO is known for is expansive and great programming, and that could be anything from soccer, basketball, debate, current events. We've got an art center. There's just loads of things that are going on. And then we've got flex time, and at flex time, students can sign out to, we've got more activities going on, but students can also sign out to go to the Ville. But they may go back up to their floor. Students have to do their laundry when they are with us, which may be the first time that many of them have done their laundry. And we know this, which is why we have laundry workshops. And we do laundry workshops because I will give you an example of something. When I was the dean of students many years ago, I had a bunch of students, boys, run into my office and tell me that I had to get up to the third floor because there was an emergency, but they wouldn't tell me what it was. But I discovered what it was before I completely got there, which was they had poured most of a bottle of Tide into a washing machine, and there were suds that were coming not only down the hallway, but down the stairwell. So we know now that students do actually need direction on this, and so we help them out with this. Day students can stay with us till 5:30, or they can stay later. We've got dinner at 6, and we've got another check-in at 7:15, and then we've got evening events. And evening events may be scavenger hunts, they may be an outside performer coming in. It could be carnival night, talent show. I mean, just lots of things that are happening. Then we've got hall check-in at 9:15. The floors, one of the great things at Wellesley, these are beautiful dorms, and every hallway has its own full kitchen and living room and washers and dryers. And so it's a great time at hall check-in. You'll meet with your residential advisor and the other students on your hallway. And one, we'll make sure that you're there. But the second thing is we want to talk about how did the day go and what are people up to? And this is a great time to hang out with the students on your floor. And then at 10:15, we've got room check-in. So your residential advisors, you have 2 residential advisors. They both live on the floor there. And they're the folks who take care of you and check in with you. And then we've got weekend trips for residential students on both Saturday and Sunday. And on those days, I think we've got about 5 trips that go out each day, a range of things. And those could be museums, they could be, Six Flags. You get to choose what you want to do. But as you can tell, you have a lot of latitude in putting together your schedule. So we are checking on people. We are making sure that students are supervised. But what we're really encouraging students to do is try things that they haven't done before, and to meet new people, and just to, again, move outside of their comfort zones. So these are just very popular, Gaga. You can see that we do some sports. We have an art center. We also have house competitions. And so these are some of the shields from the house competitions. I think this might have come from last year, actually. And then these are just some of the places that we go on trips. You know, it could be the Red Sox, it could be the beach, it could be duck tours. But if you haven't been to the Boston area, you really can get a good handle on, I think we've got a trip one day going to Harvard and Cambridge in Harvard Square. So there's just a real range of things that you can do with us during the summertime. This comment that May makes is something that many students have said of us. And I think, to be fair, I think one of the things that happens is when you come to Explo, most students are not coming with anyone that they know. And what it means is that they have more of a tendency, instead of to be in a defensive posture, to be a little bit more vulnerable and open to meeting new people. And in doing so, because they're more open to meeting new people, they connect with more people. The other thing that I think actually helps here is we are a program where students don't have phones. And so a student traveling from abroad or other parts of the country may have a phone with them, and that's fine. And we would want you to have one while you're traveling. But once you get to campus, we are going to put that away for you. And we are very much we want people to look each other in the eye, to have direct conversations in person with one another. We are not looking for this to be a program where you are having virtual relationships. And so when no one has a phone at the program, that becomes much easier to do this. So residential life, you can read some of this. We've got living, we say curated living groups. What do we mean by that? Well, one of the things is that we, one, try and make sure the living group is made up of students from a variety of places. So we don't want everyone from New York living on the same floor. We also will group students by age group. So it could be just one age group, might just be eighth graders, but it might be sixth and I'm going to say six. This can be confusing. So students for our middle school program are currently in grades 6, 7, and 8. And so we might mix students who are currently in grade 6 or 7 together, or grade 7 and 8 together, but we're not going to mix a sixth grader with an eighth grader. And on the floors, we have double and single rooms. And I talked a little bit before about the kitchens and how those are set up. In terms of food and dining, we use the same dining services that Wellesley College uses during the academic year. And there are hot entrees at each meal. There's always at least one vegetarian option. There are salad bars and fresh fruits and vegetables at fresh fruits, I should say, at meetings, and generally cooked vegetables. And if you do have a particular need, whether it's gluten-free or you have an allergy or something else, generally speaking, we can accommodate those, but let us know beforehand and we will make arrangements for you, if need be, to touch base with folks in dining services to make sure that you're taken care of during the summertime. We take the health and safety piece for us is a big deal. I've been doing this for a very, as you heard, almost 40 years, and this has always been the number one concern of ours. And so we have an exceptional staff student ratio, 1 to 5, and we have nursing staff on campus 24/7. We actually set up our own dedicated health center, and we distribute medications for students if need be. A student's not feeling well, we have it set up as kind of like a little field hospital, and students can spend the night there. And we're lucky that we've got world-class hospitals within 10 minutes of campus. And other things will happen. Students' glasses will break, their braces will pop off, whatever it happens to be. But we've got connections with all of the folks needed to make sure that those things are taken care of. We have a very close relationship with the Wellesley College. We have been there since 1977, and we work very closely with really lots of departments, but in particular with health and safety. And it is a very safe campus. And one of the things that is important for you to know is we do take supervision of students seriously, as well as supervision of our faculty and staff. And I just genuinely don't believe that it is possible to run a safe program if you're not actually really supervising students. And we have a really clearly defined set of guidelines and expectations and rules for student behavior, and we enforce them. And I hate to do it, but if need be, we have to separate a student, send them home, we will do that. And because we want to make sure that students feel comfortable with the program and safe, and that we can expect that students are going to be in the places where they're supposed to be. And if they can't live within the rules, then unfortunately, we're just not going to be the program where they can stay. We have at the program during the summertime an Office of Student Life with a dean, an assistant dean, and residence directors. And those folks are working with the nurses in our health office, and we're in contact with parents when we need to be. And we have folks who work year round on this program. And actually today I was meeting with them to go over some things that we're doing, as well as yesterday. We do background checks on all of our staff, and that includes criminal background checks, sexual offender registry checks. We've checked multiple references, and we have quite a few staff returning every year. So, and we do a lot of training. We're known for our training, and we do that before the summer even starts, and then we do quite a bit once we get on the ground. One of the things you should know is that all of the students coming to our middle school program have not been away from home before. In fact, for many of them, this is their first time away from home, and that can be a little bit scary. And we know that, and that's why we're really tuned into first time sleeping away from home, and we're good at helping students find their place with us. And the other thing that I'll say is we also every summer have some students who did sleep away someplace else and they didn't have a great experience. And they're kind of a little bit shy about wanting to try this again. And I understand it completely. And it's still really important not to let that one bad experience define you and prevent you from moving forward. So what I would say is if you are a parent and you had a child who did not have a great experience previously, let us know those kinds of things, and so that we're prepped before a student comes. But but we also have students who spent a number of years away from home, so it's a real mix of students. And with that, I am going to kick it over to Maddie and Kate to do the admissions piece.
Wonderful. Thank you, Moira. Again, my name's Maddie. Kate and I work in the admissions office, and we really are here to help you and help your child decide which program is best, how to prepare for summer, and all the steps that happen in between before we get to July for EXPLO. And so first step would be to decide your program, have those conversations. You're going to start your application online, and we're going to send over some information to you, some links on how to get to our website. If you need direct help, we'd be happy to reach out to you, set up a private conversation to help you with any questions you might have. We actually have an early bird discount, which is available to families who submit their deposit before January 1st. And so that's available to you. And that all it requires is a deposit. There is a teacher recommendation and a workshop and elective form to fill out, but that is not required for the early bird deposit. And so for the teacher recommendation, we just need one, and it's for first-time families who are joining EXPLO. Really acts as a character reference, lets us know how your child behaves in the classroom, and a lot of times it can be really helpful information that we pass along to our program team as to what your child is really excited to learn, and lets us know more about them, right? And these are pictures of our faces, but just so you know who you're talking to, and we really are going to be here throughout the whole year and into the summer. And anything that happens over the summer, if you need something, you'll be talking to Kate and myself, and you have our phone number and our email up top, and we're really here for you.
So Maddie, I didn't say anything, but we've got one question. Certainly, I'm sure there are loads of things that I did not cover, and I'm happy to do that. And so if you do have questions, either put them in the Q&A or the chat, and we'll see if we can get them answered. We do have one question so far, and it's from Nora, who's in sixth grade, and she was wondering, I'm not, Nora, I'm assuming that this means you're wondering if there will be any spirit days. It says spurt days, but I'm thinking that might be a typo, but there could be things going on in sixth grade now called spurt that I don't know. So I I'm not 100% sure, Nora, what you mean by spirit days, but basically, this is a spirited place. We are always doing things to get the whole community together. So we have theme days. I mean, we have loads of things that are going on. So if you're kind of wondering, like, is this a place that is fun and exciting and there's interesting stuff going on a regular basis? There is. So you shouldn't worry about that at all. Um, and hi, we're wondering if there's a 4-week program and what happens. Yes, actually. Well, yes. Here's how we do this. We have two-week sessions. So the program itself is 2 weeks, but students can stay for 4 weeks. And we actually have a number of students already who will be staying for 4 weeks. So what happens is a student staying for the entire 4-week session would take different workshops and different electives the second session. So they would have a completely different schedule than they would the first session. And then over that weekend between the first session and the second session, one of two things can happen. Either parents come to visit over that weekend, and it's not unusual that they will come to Boston and take their child out for the day or overnight and do a little traveling and vacationing around the Boston area. Or if that's not really feasible because students are coming from quite a distance, then we take them out on a trip over the weekend and get them set up for the second session. So either way, we can work that out. But we do have a number of students who are already signed up for 4 weeks, and we anticipate there will be more of them. And let's see if more questions here. Let's see. For the medical rotation program, do students travel to a Boston-based hospital, or all activities are conducted on campus? No, they actually, most of the activities, I would say, and the workshops and coursework is done on campus, but they do go to the Brigham and Women's Hospital, which is a Harvard-affiliated teaching hospital, and they go to the Stratus Lab. That's where they do the sim lab work. Is financial aid available to students who, yes, if students can only commit to 2 weeks, yes. And in fact, it is more likely that you would get financial aid for 2 weeks than you would for 4 weeks. So we've got two types of financial aid. One is grants. All of our financial aid, by the way, is based on financial need, and grants are automatic if you fit within certain guidelines, and Kate can help you with that. Then those are smaller amounts that if that's sufficient, then we can grant those pretty quickly. If you need a larger scholarship, then there's a little bit lengthier scholarship application process. You can get information on that on our website, and Kate can also help you with that.
Absolutely.
Medical rotations, if there's still workshops and electives. No, there's not. So if you think of medical rotations and veterinary science as made up in a lot of ways as a number of different workshops, but they're all medically related or they're all veterinary science related. And then at the end of the day, when it gets to community meeting, you'll go off to community meeting with everyone else. You can do activities with everyone else. So you can go off to do soccer or basketball or whatever it happens to be, art related activities, and go into town and various other things. But your academic day is going to be more focused, and you're not going to have as wide array of academic options the same way as a student doing 360. Um, Teacher recommendations, are they required for the early bird before? Okay, So you will need to do a teacher recommendation, but we don't need to actually receive the teacher recommendation before January 1st, which, given that most schools, at least here in the United States, are going on break soon. In fact, many of them are going on break tomorrow. That might be difficult to get that teacher recommendation done before January 1st. So don't worry about that. Um, Yes, can you request a single room or a specific roommate? Yes. So you can request a single room, and we will see what we can do about delivering on that. We can't necessarily guarantee it. You can ask for a specific roommate. However, the thing to know is that the other person also has to request you. So as long as it's coming from both places, we can put students together as roommates. Um, can a student travel by themselves to Logan Airport? I'm going to say generally yes, unless the airline has a requirement that because of your age, they're going to expect that you are going to fly as an unaccompanied minor. So you could still go by yourself, but there may be additional documentation that they're going to need for you to travel by yourself. And so what you would want to do is check in with the airlines that you expect to fly on to see what the answer is to that. And if you're from a visa waiver country, that shouldn't be a problem in terms of getting into the country and waiting for a visa, but that doesn't necessarily have a bearing on whether they're going to require you to fly as an unaccompanied minor. Do the students get their phones back in the evenings, or how would they contact their parents? Okay, that's a very good question. So what happens is we will take your phones and we will lock them up, and we will keep them until the end of the program. However, after what we do is for the first week of the program, students do not call home. And the reason that we do that is that we've been doing this for a very long time. And what we find is that when students can go 1 week without calling home, they have set up a support network for themselves at the program and generally are in reasonably good shape and gotten over homesickness, etc. If they haven't, one of the things that you should know is our policy is if we think a student has homesickness that is more significant, more severe than what we would say is typical, we're going to call home. After the first week, we have phones in all of the dorms that students can use so that they can call home and they can contact their parents. And there are a number of times in the day that they can do that, but they wouldn't be calling on their own cell phones. Do boys and girls room together if requested? Generally not. We do have the option of a floor that is for a gender neutral hallway. And I think for a middle school program, Maddie, maybe, I'm not sure that we had enough requests for that last year to actually run that. So
Yeah,
it's a
it's
little
quite
bit.
limited and small, and usually the floor is to support gender expression, not really to serve the purpose of looking to room with somebody of the opposite gender. But we have those conversations with you, with me, or the program director, to see what your child is comfortable with.
Let's see. My name is Andre, seventh grade. I love animals and medicine. Oh, okay. And still confused which program to choose. Are the animals that need to be diagnosed in the classroom? So Andre, I would say a couple of different things. Is These are one is obviously treating and dealing with people, and the other one is dealing with animals. And it's okay to be confused. You're in middle school and you're still exploring things, so it might be that you do the veterinary program or the medicine program this summer and another one next summer, and it could be that you stay for both and do both of them this summer. In terms of the animals, we bring some of the animals actually into the classrooms. And then we also then go out to a zoo and we go to a farm. So some of it's on campus and then some of it's going on trips. Proportion of day versus overnight. We're expecting that it's going to be about 25% day students and about 75% residential students. I think right now we're running 80-20, 80% residential, something like that, maybe 20% day, but that's kind of what we're expecting in general. Um, if you don't feel comfortable with your roommate, am I allowed to switch? Excuse me. That's a good question. Um, my general answer is no. However, part of what we're doing, you will fill out a roommate form. Well, you don't have to, but we recommend. We have a roommate form that you can fill out. And what we're trying to do is connect you with someone that you might have some interest with. I think just so you know, another part of my background, in addition to working at EXPLO, I worked in college residential life for 3 years, and I was a dean at and a house head at the largest boarding school in the continental United States. So I have dealt with many students and roommates and roommate issues from anywhere from students in grade 4 up to graduate students. And I think one of the key things to know is that it's not essential that you become really close friends with your roommate. What you're trying to do is live together amicably. And so we'll do a lot of work on that. If there are really significant issues, that would be something you would go to your residential advisor about, and you might end up going to the Office of Student Life and speaking with one of the deans. So we look into things. We don't want you to be in a place where you feel unsafe or something like this. But part of going away, one of the things that I noticed when I both worked at a boarding school and in college residential life is it was very apparent to me which students had lived away from home before and gotten used to this. And if you don't even share a room with a sibling at home, the notion perhaps of going away and sharing a room with a stranger can be pretty daunting. And that's why we do a lot of roommate work, actually, the first night and the first day that you're there to help you get to know each other and figure out where the lines are and how to live together. And I don't know if we've got any more questions here. I think that might be it. Okay. Well, with that, I would just say, if you are, I hope that we will see you this summer. And oh, I've got one other hidden thing. Is the Ville within the campus or external? Okay. Uh, Yeah. So the Ville is actually off campus. So it's literally, there's a path from our residential complex to walk into town. And along that path, we have staff members and we have staff members in town. And they are walking around. And I'm calling it a Ville because this is not downtown Boston. This is not a very big town. And so if there's an emergency there, it's going to be a pretty easy thing to get in touch with someone. And we're walking around and monitoring things. And so I will say, for students, this was not the case actually when I first started working at EXPLO. It was pretty typical that students would walk into town at home, but that's become less and less the case now in this day and age. And one of the things that we think is important is for middle school students to be able to walk into town we've got boundaries, so they can't go anywhere they want and gain a little bit of independence. Vaccinations. We have all of the standard vaccinations. I wish I could, the TDP, MMRs, polio. We do not require the COVID vaccine. I'd recommend you get it, but we don't require it now. But I think Maddie, you and Kate can help people on that one if they need to get the actual list. Yeah.
Absolutely, we can send that over to you. If you email us at summer@explo.org, we can give you full information about what's required.
The boy-girl ratio of participants, we have historically had we've been heavier with girls than boys. But right now we're running about 50-50. So I mean, that one, I don't know where that's going to, ultimately end up. But that's where we've been and where we are at this point. Written evaluations at the end of the program. No, we actually don't do written evaluations at the end of the program. One of the things that we are looking for students to do is actually not worry about grades or evaluations or anything else. This is about, for us, participation and high engagement. Well, I'm saying high engagement. We designed the curriculum this way. We just ran, we just finished a pilot of an EXPLO course at a middle school in Massachusetts. The pilot went very well. One of the things about our courses is we've got a bunch of highly capable curriculum designers that look to put projects together, and they're very hands-on, and actually that's one of the things that we do with schools is consult on how to make courses more interesting and engaging, but part of what we're doing is really making sure that students are taking some risks in courses, and at least for a 2-week program, we don't combine that with doing evaluations. Okay. Well, we're getting close to the hour here, so I want to thank you all for joining us. And if you have any questions, certainly reach out to us, and we'll see what we can do about answering things. Maddie, we've got the early bird discounts until January 1,
Before
and
January 1, yep, if
before
your
January.
deposits, yep.
Okay, okay. And the application happens online. If you're confused about what courses to take or workshops or whatever happens to be, that's also something that Maddie and Kate can help you with. One of the things I recommend is just go onto the website and just start looking at courses and options and things. And instead of getting caught up in like what to choose right away, just start marking off what looks interesting to you, and then you'll start settling into what the possibilities might be. Um, and then the final one, Benjamin, I'm gonna answer this. Is there any activities, sports, music? Loads of activities. I was only today walking by our drum sets and walking by oh gosh, our guitars. We have a grand piano at the program, and so we've got lots of music stuff. We do loads of sports. We do lots of art activities. We have lots of debate. There's just lots of stuff. And the other thing I will tell you, you've got a programming office. So if it turns out that you really want to do something and you've got some friends at the program that really want to do something, then march into the programming office and just say, we want to do this, and then we start programming around that too. So it's pretty flexible in that way. I think it would be pretty hard to be at the program and not find some things that you'd be interested in doing. So well, with that, I am going to let folks go, and I want to wish you all happy holidays. And I hope that we'll see you on campus this summer. I will be there, and as will Maddie and Kate. And just let us know if you've got any questions, because we want to make sure that we get those answered. And we'll see you in the new year. Take care. Thank you.